At Jebat, Kyle tells Diane that Claire won't be moving in with them at home. It would be another slap in Victor's face. Diane thinks he could use a metaphorical slap in his face, and Claire could be just the one to give it to him. Kyle doesn't want the mustache going after them. Diane complains that Claire should be full of joy, not constantly looking over her shoulder, worrying that her grandfather will take that joy away. It's so twisted. She rants about the Newmans bending over backward to please Victor. They debate the point, and Kyle says Claire is determined to live on her own terms. Diane warns Victor won't stop. Kyle's sure Claire will chip away at him one small victory at a time. Diane hopes she knows what she's up against. At the tack house, Victoria grabs Cole's jacket to take him to the doctor. Claire tells her dad to take it easy. Victoria decides to call the doctor, let him know about the symptoms, and that they're on their way. Getting Cole's coat on, he tells Claire and Victoria to stop fussing over him. Undeterred, they help him up to get him to the car. Claire hangs back as they take off, with Victoria saying she'll let her know. Hey everyone, welcome back to Radiant Serum. I'm Aubrey, and I hope your day is shining bright. Thank you for joining me. Let's jump right into today's video at Society. Summer asks Sally if she knows why Chelsea called this meeting. Sally's not sure she'd be the first person she'd tell. Summer apologizes. Chelsea arrives and tells them this won't take long. She wants to run something by them and asks that they keep an open mind. Summer gushes about how impressed and proud she's been with their team. She then asks what Chelsea wants to run by them. Chelsea says she's been given a job offer, which means she could be leaving Marchetti. Sally's eyes widen. Summer asks if another fashion house is trying to poach her. Chelsea doesn't want to get into specifics right now. She insists she's happy at Marchetti. Summer says she must be having some doubts, or she wouldn't want to leave. Chelsea explains it's a totally new direction. Sally has a feeling she knows what the job is. She knows how Adam's mind works. He's asked you to work with him at Newman Media, hasn't he? Sally explains that Adam doesn't trust a lot of people. He finds those he cares about to fill that role. Sally's sure this is the next logical step for her ex. Summer asks Chelsea point blank if she's planning to leave Marchetti for Newman Media. Chelsea isn't ready to divulge that yet and doesn't think it makes a difference. Summer argues that it does. If she loses her, it's a serious blow. Chelsea doesn't want to leave her in the lurch. But if she does leave, she thought Sally might want to expand her role beyond Marchetti Z. She has full confidence she could handle it. She would never want to put Summer in a bad position. Summer asks Sally how she'd feel about adding creative director to her job description. Sally gawps at her. Sally finally says it's definitely something to think about. It could be a good fit. Summer thinks so too. She'd hate to lose Chelsea, but if that's what's going to happen, she'd be confident with Sally stepping in. Sally appreciates the vote of confidence. There are just some things she needs to work through first. I have had an offer of my own. Summer gawps. Is she being courted by a competitor? Sally says not at all. She marvels that she was thinking if she took the job, Chelsea could take over Marchetti Z. Summer can't believe this. She could be losing both of her lead designers at the same time. At the club, Lauren tells Michael she's happy to catch up. She feels like they haven't spent time together in days. She learns he spoke to Jack and is sure he heard all about Diane's renovations. Michael admits it wasn't a purely personal visit. Victor's amping up his war against Jabba, and he gave Jack a heads up. Lauren exclaims that he's Victor's sworn enemy. When he warns Jack, he crosses into enemy territory. Michael's trying to navigate the situation to the best possible outcome. Lauren guarantees he just made it worse. When Victor finds out, this will bite him in the ass. And then what? Lauren can't understand why her husband wants more trouble. Michael refuses to see this as crossing enemy lines. Lauren reminds him that Victor expects confidentiality, which means not going to Jack. Michael sees himself as a secret go-between. Left to their own devices, what would those two men be capable of? Think about the collateral damage. Lauren warns he's in the middle, which is a dangerous place to be. If Victor finds out, he'll be infuriated. The casualty of his war will be Michael. The lawyer is sure he'll never find out. Because I have a plan. Lauren tells Michael he's a brilliant attorney, but when it comes to Victor and plans, she's not confident. She points out he stayed the night Victor was shot by Ian Ward and has felt Victor's wrath many times. Have you not learned your lesson yet? She asks what he's up to. He won't tell her. She'll shoot it down. He announces he's over it. Lauren suggests he then listen to her plan. Remove yourself altogether, and you tell Victor you quit. Michael will honor his allegiance to Victor. Lauren rants that people he cares about will get hurt. Michael maintains he knows what he's doing. They'll stick around, partly to prevent a disaster. Lauren gawps that he thinks he's the hero in this. Diane walks up and Lauren urges her husband to tell her what they were talking about. Diane's curious. Why would she be interested in what they're talking about unless it has to do with her or Jack? She guesses it has to do with Jack and Michael's evil master. Michael declares the discussion over. Diane says it's not and asks where his allegiance lies. With his friends or the man who signs his checks. She trots off and Michael asks Lauren why she put him in a spot like that. Lauren had to light a fire under him to do the right thing. She doesn't like what working for Victor is doing to him. Tearing up, she says this scares her. Michael asks, why are you doing this? Lauren's starting to wonder if Diane is right. Is your allegiance really with Victor and not your friends who you say are so important to you? Michael is trying to protect them all. Either she doesn't understand or she refuses to. At Crimson Lights, Audra tells Victor she needs her funding. He complains that she hasn't made a single move against Kyle Abbott yet. She lets him know how much she wants this deal and swears she'll never flip to Kyle's side, not after the way he betrayed her. She needs to start building her company and get office space and employees. Victor says it will come in time. Audra stresses that it's part of her plan to get to Kyle. Victor doesn't want to know the details. She repeats that funding is critical if she's going to see this true. Victor will deposit part of the seed money everything she makes progress. The sooner she makes it clear Kyle is hurting his granddaughter, the more funding she'll get. Audra muses, "You don't trust me at all, do you?" Victor says, "Not at all." Audra asks what she has to do to show him he can trust her. He tells her she must get results. Audra tells him the new company will be called Vibranti. Victor likes it. He asks for the number of her corporate account. She asks if he'll be putting up some money as a sign of good faith. Victor tells her when she takes Kyle down a peg, she'll get her first deposit. "I suggest you get busy." As he walks out, Kyle arrives, noting they were talking. He asks Audra why she isn't busy working on her new venture. She calls him a Nepo baby and claims she's just there for a caffeine boost. She needles him a little more and then tells him his time's up. Jabba's going to be in trouble. He's amused. Audra tells him Vibrant will launch firing on all cylinders. They'll outdo his old potions and lotions. They continue to banter until Kyle tells her many companies have tried to best Jabba. She'd be wise to learn from history. Her project doesn't stand a chance. Audra's excited about the future and won't share with the competition where she's at in the process. He's sure it's all in her imagination and taunts, "You don't know what you're doing." Audra says she does, and reminds him he knows what she's capable of on every level. They banter some more, and she assures him she'll invite him to the launch party. He tells her every woman there will be wearing Jabba's lotions and potions. Claire arrives and Audra coos, "Ah, someone needs to turn that frown upside down." Claire asks why she's always so rude. Audra exits and Claire tells Kyle about her father being sick. She's worried it could be serious. Kyle assures her Cole will be fine. They kiss. Claire tells him he always knows how to make her feel better. From the patio, Audra watches them embrace. Sitting, Kyle tells Claire that Audra is moving forward with her cosmetics company and can't get over herself. She pretends to herself that Jebot should be worried. He suspects this isn't all coming from her. Someone's backing her. Claire asks if he suspects her grandfather is involved. Kyle admits that he does, but he has no proof. Claire tells him there's reason to worry. She just found out that her grandfather is back in business with Audra. This seems like a direct move against Kyle. Kyle arrives at Jebot and calls someone. "I need your help." He asks the person to find out everything they can about a startup called Vibrant and get back to him. After disconnecting, he gets on a laptop to look into it, mumbling that he has a pretty good idea who's behind it. Victor arrives at the ranch and calls out for Nikki. Getting no answer, he pulls out his phone and sends a text. At the club, Michael receives Victor's text asking to see him immediately. Lauren pulls the phone out of his hand. She tells her husband, "You know where I stand. You need to get out of this fight, immediately. You're in the middle of something that's going to blow up, and you need to get out now, before it's too late." Michael exchanges a look with Diane, who's leaving with her takeout bag. Phyllis is not okay. Her son's wife was murdered, and then the redhead was kidnapped, held captive, and nearly died. Now, life is piling on. Young and Restless is steering Red toward a mammoth meltdown that will have repercussions for not one, but two couples in Genoa City. Phyllis was devastated when Daniel's longtime love, Heather, was murdered in their apartment. But what really dialed up Phyllis' stress was her son being framed for the homicide. If that wasn't bad enough, she suspected her longtime nemesis was responsible for all of it, and she wasn't wrong. Although it turned out Sharon was being drugged and didn't kill Heather, she did dump her body in the river and frame Daniel. Despite the extenuating circumstances, Phyllis' hostility toward Sharon remained. So it was extra aggravating to find herself kidnapped and locked up in an abandoned psychiatric clinic with the blonde. Although part of their captivity involved working through their issues with each other, Sharon and Phyllis were traumatized anew by the entire experience, given they were tortured like lab rats and came this close to losing their lives before being rescued. While Sharon might have been the most likely candidate to come out of it all with major mental strain, instead it's been Phyllis who has visibly struggled. In what appears to be the lastest in an increasingly long line of mental health-themed plots, Phyllis appears to be grappling with a bad case of PTSD, given that she's triggered by any interaction that makes her feel like the aforementioned lab rat. And things are only going to get worse. When Phyllis proved herself incapable of focusing on work because of her obsession with helping Daniel, Billy cut her from his hypothetical company, Abbott Communications. Then Daniel pushed her away and asked for space. This left her alone and fending off a panic attack in the park. What Phyllis doesn't know is that life is about to deal her yet another blow when her daughter Summer decides to leave Genoa City. If you thought Phyllis might be headed for a nervous breakdown before, you can bet that Summer's departure will hurry things along. What will the fallout be? Well, it's not looking good on two fronts. Nick and Sharon will soon return from their trip to London to visit Noah, and whether they've ruined it off-screen remains to be seen. But given how they were dancing around the idea of getting back together before they left, it's a definite possibility. However, if they arrive home to Phyllis having a breakdown, it's going to throw a monkey wrench into the works. Rather than focusing on romance, they'll be catapulted into a scenario where one or both of them need to support the redhead. Despite their newly forged truce, Sharon is sure to be none too pleased if Nick throws himself into his customary hero role for Phyllis. Billy, meanwhile, is still openly struggling with guilt over firing Phyllis. Despite doing the best thing for his company, it clearly didn't sit well in his conscience. Should Phyllis have a full-blown nervous breakdown, the guy is going to feel terrible and will feel obligated to be there for her. As one might imagine, Sally will not be a fan of this, particularly given she has been telling him he has no reason to be guilt-ridden. Should he insist on riding to Phyllis' rescue, it may not only impinge on his relationship with Sally, but pivot her away from accepting his offer to come and work with him. Phyllis is absolutely headed for a mammoth meltdown, and the only question that remains is who will help pick up the pieces, and what will the fallout be for that knight in shining armor. There's a casting shakeup in Genoa City that's sure to shock longtime fans. The Young and the Restless comings and goings reveal that Alison Lanier is officially stepping away from her role as Summer Newman. The actress confirmed her departure on social media, and her final episode will air on Friday, May 2. This unexpected exit comes at a time when Summer's storyline was gaining momentum, making the news all the more surprising. Alison Lanier joined the CBS soap back in May 2022, taking over the role from Hunter King. Within no time, she made the character her own. Lanier brought emotional depth and charm to Summer, earning viewer support and even a Daytime Emmy nomination in 2024. Sadly, her journey is coming to an end far sooner than fans anticipated. In her exit post, Lanier expressed gratitude for the love and support, stating that it was time for her to grow in a new direction. As for the character of Summer, viewers were hoping to see her dive deeper into the love triangle with Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman. Tension had been rising, jealousy was setting in, and the stage was set for romantic chaos. But now, all of that is being cut short. Lanier's exit means Summer's future in Genoa City is on pause, and the show isn't in a hurry to fill her shoes. According to insiders, The Young and the Restless currently has no immediate plans to recast the role. While that news is disappointing to many, it does leave the door wide open. Will another actress take on the role eventually? Or could Hunter King, who portrayed Summer for nearly a decade, return for another run? At this point, everything is pure speculation. For now, viewers will have to accept that Summer is leaving town, just as things were about to get messy. Behind the scenes, Lanier's casting journey is as interesting as her characters. She revealed in past interviews that she was living in New York when the opportunity arose. After sending in a self-tape and flying to Los Angeles for a screen test, she landed the role quickly. She even met Joshua Morrow and Michael Mealer during the audition process and bonded with them right away. Lanier had just 2 weeks to relocate across the country and begin filming. It was a whirlwind, but she embraced the challenge and gave it her all. In her 2-year run, Lanier helped reshape Summer's image from a legacy character into a modern heroine. She tackled emotional arcs, heartbreak, and career shifts with grace and vulnerability. Though her time was brief, her impact was lasting. With her final scenes airing this week, fans are preparing to say goodbye to a version of Summer they've come to love. While it's sad to see her go, Alison Lanier leaves on a high note. Her heartfelt farewell reminds us that soap exits can be bittersweet. Whether she moves into primetime, film, or new daytime ventures, one thing's certain, this isn't the last we've seen of her. She's got the talent, the drive, and the fan base to take her career anywhere. So don't miss her final scenes airing Friday, May 2. They'll mark the end of a special chapter in Genoa City. The Young and the Restless comings and goings continue to evolve, and this one changes the game for Summer's future. Whether a return or recast happens remains to be seen, but the role is now wide open. The Young and the Restless spoilers for May 5 to 9 promise emotional chaos across Genoa City. Claire faces heartbreak from all angles, Cole receives life-changing news, and Adam juggles explosive tension at work. Meanwhile, secrets threaten relationships and new mysteries unfold. This week, love, loyalty, and survival will all be tested. Claire Newman is about to hit a rough patch from every direction. First, Victor lashes out over her relationship with Kyle Abbott. He's furious about their living arrangement, and his words cut deep. That confrontation alone leaves Claire rattled. But things only get worse when Audra Charles enters the picture. Her covert alliance with Victor means more schemes are coming, and Claire's romance with Kyle is caught in the middle. As if that wasn't enough, a more personal tragedy awaits. Claire's father, Cole Howard, receives a terrifying health update. His illness may be serious, possibly terminal, and Claire's fragile peace begins to collapse. Cole's trip to the doctor won't bring good news. The diagnosis he receives is both shocking and potentially life-threatening. While he might try to keep things quiet, hiding the truth won't last long. Claire just got her father back. Now, she's staring at the possibility of losing him all over again. With so little time spent together, the emotional toll will be unbearable. The week ahead promises heartbreak as Cole's condition becomes clearer. Over at Newman Media, Adam Newman faces his own crisis. Chelsea Lawson joins the company, and the move brings tension. She wants a clean approach, free from manipulation. But Victor expects Adam to get his hands dirty again. Now, Adam stands between two forces, his father's ruthless tactics and Chelsea's demand for integrity. As the pressure builds, Adam's ability to juggle both may come crashing down. Elsewhere in town, Lily Winters receives surprise gifts and romantic notes. A secret admirer is clearly making a move, but the mystery man stays hidden. With each gesture, Lily grows more intrigued and cautious. She doesn't know whether to embrace the mystery or run from it. This romantic game could bring joy or another round of heartbreak. Tessa Porter begins to feel uneasy. She senses Maria Copeland is hiding something, and the distance grows between them. Every conversation feels loaded. Every smile seems forced. Tessa isn't sure if she should press for answers or wait for Mariah to open up. But silence isn't helping. If this secret lingers, it could damage the foundation of their relationship. Daniel Romalotti is feeling the heat. Phyllis Summers keeps warning him about the direction he's heading in. She wants him to find stability, not distractions. Meanwhile, Tessa has been there to support him, but the roles may soon reverse. If Tessa breaks down over her issues with Mariah, Daniel will need to step up for her. Phyllis, on the other hand, may not agree with how Daniel handles things, but she'll try to respect his choices. Michael Baldwin is walking a dangerous tightrope. He's been making bold moves behind Victor's back. At first, he thought he could manage both loyalty and independence. But now, the risks are growing. One wrong step could cost him everything. If Victor catches wind of the betrayal, Michael could be cut off completely. The next few days will determine how far he's willing to go. Kyle and Claire's romance is feeling the heat. Between Victor's disapproval and Audra's interference, their future is on shaky ground. Kyle may try to hold things together, but Claire's attention is divided. With Cole's illness weighing heavily on her heart, Claire may begin to emotionally pull away. The strain could create distance and possibly lead to heartbreak. Jess Walton, who plays Jill Abbott, shared a fun BTS throwback photo. Jess Walton looked back at her time on Young and the Restless. One of her fondest memories includes sharing the small screen with the late Gene Cooper. On the heels of the 12th anniversary of Cooper's death, Walton shared one memory she kept in the vault. There's no doubt that Walton has plenty of stories to share from Mai and R. She shocked fans with one memory. On Wednesday, April 30, Walton posted a throwback photo on Instagram. The shot was a behind-the-scenes photo of Jill firing a hose in Catherine's face. No, it wasn't to cool down from the summer heat. These ladies were just rehashing one of soap's longest feuds ever. But there was nothing but laughs behind the scenes. Walton recalled that moment in her heartfelt Instagram post. She revealed the key ingredients that got this scene right. This scene with Jeannie was pure magic, wild, funny, and unforgettable. Grateful for every moment I got to share with her on and off screen, Walton wrote. Sadly, Cooper passed away on May 8, 2013. She struggled with an infection. Cooper's death came after the promotion for Mai and R's 40th anniversary. She's still missed to this day. Fans wish the show would harken back to this era. Walton's Instagram post brought back memories. I remember this as well. The two of you made a great team. Still, to this day, haven't seen anything like this on TV, one fan remarked. You two are the best to watch. Always loved your scenes, but together you kept me hooked to see what was going to happen next. Miss you both. You need to come back. A second fan begged. Are we about to see a new side of Kyle's girl? When Claire first showed up on The Young and the Restless, she was a liar and a schemer, perfectly content to let her entire family die to help her twisted Aunt Jordan fulfill her agenda. Once the truth of her being poor, presumed dead Eve Nicole came out, Claire did a 180 and suddenly became a sweet, innocent ingenue who would never dream of doing a bad thing, saying a bad word, or entertaining a bad thought. But will the May 1 episode bring back the Claire viewers were intrigued by? Claire isn't stupid. She is, in fact, a survivor. Little Claire quickly figured out that the way to deal with her Aunt Jordan was to become whoever Jordan demanded she be. A liar and a schemer, perfectly content to let her entire family die. Then, once Jordan was out of the picture and Claire needed to get along with her new family, especially Grandpa Victor, she promptly turned into a sweet, innocent ingenue. In other words, everybody gets the Claire they want. Claire will make sure of that. Now that Claire is with Kyle, she has transformed herself into his preferred dream girl. She agrees with everything he says, she likes everything he likes, and she's a better mother to his son, Harrison, than either Kyle or Summer. Though, of course, she never lets Kyle know that. Everything was going swimmingly. Suddenly, on May 1, Claire and Audra got into a battle of barbs. Audra won so quickly, it wasn't even funny. Is it time for another Claire the Chameleon transformation? Claire was evil when she needed to be, sweet when she needed to be, humble when she needed to be. What if Claire now decides it's time to fight fire with fire where Audra is concerned? Audra is a shark, so Claire must become one too in order to fight her off. And who is the biggest shark Claire knows? Will the May 1 episode turn Victoria and Cole's little girl into none other than Jordan? It's a day of big moments for Summer Newman. For the Friday, May 2 episode of The Young and the Restless, spoilers photos show a day full of dramatic moments in Genoa City. They revolve around Summer as she appears to wrap things up. Summer shows up at the Abbott mansion. It looks like she takes in all of Diane's redecorating. She and Kyle have a discussion. Could he be telling Summer about his plans to live with Claire? Whatever it is, Summer looks decidedly unthrilled with the situation. Harrison comes down, and Summer talks to him. She gets down on his level, and everybody is smiling. He's probably catching her up on something he did. Later, Summer has a sit-down with Sally and Chelsea. Neither Sally nor Chelsea was too interested in continuing their work at Marchetti. Could this be the end of the fashion brand? Based on Lanier's announcement of her departure, this is her last episode as Nick and Phyllis' daughter. Perhaps Summer will depart Genoa City for a while. Check it all out in the slideshow below. What do you think is happening? As Claire leaned on Kyle for support, Victor pulled Audra's strings to strike at the Abbotts, and Kyle vowed to fight back. The Young and the Restless recap for Thursday, May 1 sees lines drawn as Kyle protects Claire from Victor's grip. Audra fires warning shots, and Chelsea and Sally face choices that could append Marchetti. At Jabot, Kyle told Diane about Claire's excitement over the house remodel and his firm decision not to move in. As much as he wanted a future with Claire, he wasn't about to hand Victor another reason to go after her. The last thing he wanted was to let Victor weaponize their relationship. Diane was frustrated by the family dynamic. Despite being full-grown adults, Victoria and the others still bent over backward to appease their father. Kyle vowed to help Claire reclaim her independence, one subtle act of rebellion at a time. At the Tack House, Cole's health took a turn as Victoria and Claire tried to shuffle him out the door and off to the doctor. His apologies and raspy coughs filled the air, making it clear this was more than a passing illness. Meanwhile, over at Crimson Lights, Audra was thrilled to run into Victor. She'd been trying to get his attention and wanted funding for her new company, Vibrant. But Victor wasn't budging, not unless she started actively demeaning Kyle. He didn't care for the details of her plan, just the results. Every jab at Kyle would earn a payout, he said. Audra swore she was committed, but Victor didn't trust her as far as he could throw her. After he walked off, Kyle showed up, and the two sparred. Audra called him a nepo baby, bragged about her up-and-coming brand, and told him his time was up. Kyle reminded her how many companies had tried and failed to challenge Jabot, even Newman Cosmetics. She clearly didn't know what she was doing, he said. Audra relished the attention and fired back before Claire arrived. Claire shared that Cole was really sick and on his way to the doctor. Kyle reassured her, wrapping her in a hug and a kiss. But as they tried to regroup emotionally, Audra lurked nearby, eavesdropping. They took a table and discussed Audra and her supposed startup. Kyle suspected she had backing, and Claire confirmed it. Her grandfather was involved. Later, Chelsea sat down with Summer and Sally at Society. She asked them to keep an open mind before dropping her news. She'd been offered a new job. Summer was stunned. Chelsea reassured her it wasn't about leaving for another fashion house. This was about growth and a fresh challenge. Sally immediately suspected Adam. Chelsea didn't want to abandon Marchetti without a succession plan. She floated the idea of Sally stepping into her role. Summer asked how Sally felt about taking on the creative director title. Sally was flattered but cautious. She had an offer of her own to consider. Summer reeled at the possibility of losing both designers in one fell swoop. Meanwhile, Michael and Lauren had a tense lunch at the club. He admitted his recent meeting with Jack wasn't just social. He was trying to act as a secret buffer between Jack and Victor. Lauren warned him this would blow up in his face. She'd seen this before and feared he was slipping further under Victor's control. Michael insisted he was trying to keep the peace, but Lauren wasn't buying it. She offered a simple solution: quit working for Victor. Michael saw it as an ultimatum. Diane showed up mid-conversation and quickly caught on that the topic involved the evil master. The women pushed back on Michael's loyalty, questioning whether he stood by his friends or by the man who signed his checks. Adam is next up to serve. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, May 2, prove that Victor never, ever learns. He yelled, screamed, and pouted at Michael for not being as bad as Victor needed him to be. And now it was Adam's turn to receive the same treatment. Victor thinks he's the most wonderful, brilliant, sexy person who ever lived. Everybody should want to be just like him. He's confused for a minute when they refuse, and then he starts foaming at the mouth. How dare people not want to be like him? Who do they think they are, wanting to be themselves? Even if they are still putting Victor first, that's not nearly enough. You got that. Michael will come around eventually. What choice does he have? In the meantime, Adam has been allowed to think for himself long enough. Victor has a new plan of action, so hop to it. Yeah, it's vaguely immoral and probably illegal, but it's for Victor. So what's the holdup? Chelsea and Adam are back together. That means any and all thoughts Chelsea is now allowed to have must be about Adam, or his adjunct, Connor. Adam and Chelsea are going to work together too, which means his success is her success. But when Chelsea makes a bold move, will her crimes be his crimes too? Daniel doesn't want to work for Billy. This has caused Phyllis to melt down. First, she ordered Billy to hire her son, whether he wants it or not. When that failed, and Phyllis insisted they were a package deal, Billy shrugged and fired Phyllis too. That's when she became truly unhinged. Sure, she says this is all about Daniel, but we feel pretty confident it's not. Everything Phyllis does is about Phyllis. So when she says she's worried about Daniel's future, we can safely assume it's actually about hers. Sharon could face another tragic loss on why, and our Sharon's life is finally returning to normal on The Young and the Restless. After enduring one ordeal after another, she's ready to put the past behind and focus on the future. However, a secret could mean more heartache for the coffeehouse owner. Sharon has been put through the ringer because of Ian, Jordan, and Alan. In the past few months, she's been drugged, framed for murder, and kidnapped twice. After surviving her latest kidnapping, Sharon and Nick took off for a family vacation with Faith. While the trio are enjoying their London getaway with Noah, trouble might be brewing at home. Earlier this week, Maria returned after a long business trip. She reunited with Tessa, who sensed something was wrong. Maria claimed she was fine, but it's obvious she's keeping a secret. Although it's unclear what Maria is hiding, speculation is that she might be sick. Maria could have received bad news from the doctor, but doesn't want to alarm her family. However, if the situation is more dire than she realizes, she'll have to reveal her diagnosis. If Maria is sick, it'll devastate Sharon. She endured a painful loss when Cassie died, something she'll never forget. Years after her death, Sharon was stunned to discover Maria was Cassie's long-lost twin. Sharon's attempts to bond with Maria were futile at first, but eventually they became close. But now their mother-slash-daughter relationship might be cut short. If Sharon loses Maria, her whole world will shatter. Much like Cassie, Maria's been her rock, the one person who sticks by her no matter what. Without Maria, she'll feel lost, and it could lead to Sharon having a breakdown. Beth Maitland delivered a stunning performance as Tracy Abbott during one of the most devastating twists in the character's recent history, when the young and the restless needed an emotional anchor in April 2025. Beth Maitland stepped up and delivered in a way only she can. Her performance as Tracy Abbott during one of the most devastating twists in the character's recent history earned her the title of Soap Hub's Performer of the Month. Tracy thought she had finally found her happily ever after with Alan Laurent. Watching her carefully open her heart again after so much loss was a quiet triumph, and Maitland captured every tender, hopeful moment with her trademark grace. But when the walls came crashing down, revealing that Tracy's fiancé was actually Martin Laurent, Alan's deranged twin brother, Maitland took us on a breathtaking emotional journey. The heartbreak wasn't just in the tears or the anger, although those came in gut-wrenching waves. It was in the subtle flickers of realization, the way her voice would catch, the hollow devastation in her eyes. Maitland made us feel every ounce of betrayal, humiliation, and fear right alongside Tracy. Even as the storyline veered into wild soap opera territory, her grounded, raw performance kept it human and painfully relatable. Maitland's ability to blend strength with vulnerability has always been one of her greatest gifts. This month, she showed how Tracy, despite a lifetime of grief, still dared to believe in love, and how shattering that belief could be. Her scenes confronting Alan were layered with confusion, rage, and sorrow, and her quiet moments afterward, grappling with the truth, were some of the most affecting on daytime television this year. April wasn't just about Tracy's heartbreak. It was about the legacy of a character who has consistently chosen compassion over bitterness, hope over despair. Maitland honored every beat of Tracy's long, beautiful journey with a performance that will stay with us for a long time. Congratulations to Beth Maitland, our R&R Performer of the Month for April 2025. She reminded us all why Tracy Abbott is, and always will be, one of Genoa City's true hearts. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates reveal a recent script leak has exposed a dramatic romantic conflict, suggesting that one couple might be on the verge of breakup. Let's delve into a recent social media update and its implications for the future of a currently hot R&R couple and how they could fall apart. In a recent Instagram story, Zulika Silver shared a photo of herself reading Crime and Punishment and accompanied it with her reflections on the book. However, keen-eyed fans spotted one of her R&R scripts peeking out from beneath the book, and a line or two of the scene was visible. Silver inadvertently treated her followers to a sneak peek of future events, with a line of dialogue visible at the top of the script, although it wasn't too much. It seems Audra mentions something like when we exploded romantically, but is interrupted by another character. This tantalizing clue raises intriguing questions, so let's explore the possibilities. Audra is currently making significant errors on screen that could jeopardize her relationship with Nate Hastings, suggesting they might be on the brink of a romantic fallout. Audra's hesitating to share her past with Holden Novak and focusing on disrupting Kyle Abbott's relationship with Claire Newman for Victor Newman. That's only one thing that could jeopardize her connection with Nate, among several others. Considering this, it's likely that Audra is alluding to her relationship with Nate in this script. She could be discussing their romance's potential collapse with Nate or possibly someone else. Alternatively, it's also feasible that Audra is referencing her history with Holden in this dialogue that was visible at the top of the script. It seems Audra might finally be coming clean about her relationship with Holden, revealing it to be a more profound romance that ended explosively rather than just a meaningless fling. If that's the case, it could still spark a confrontation with Nate, especially since Audra claimed she had been transparent with him. Nate believes Audra only went on a few casual dates with Holden, so discovering that she minimized their connection will undoubtedly anger him. With the brewing drama involving Victor, the chances of Nate and Audra's relationship spiraling into chaos are high. Audra's hopes for their future together could quickly vanish. Recent spoilers for the CBS soap suggest that Nate and Audra might be facing breakup news soon, so stay tuned for updates on their situation. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease 3 characters must distance themselves from Victor Newman to find peace. Let's explore which residents of Genoa City need to assert themselves. First off, let's discuss Michael Baldwin, who is genuinely trying to assist Victor but is treated poorly in return. It's evident that Michael has Victor's best interests at heart, aiming to steer him away from his self-destructive tendencies, yet Victor fails to recognize this. To Victor, Michael's attempts to rein in his behavior feel like a betrayal. At this juncture, one might wonder if Victor should even remain Michael's superior, especially since he scolds him for suggesting sensible alternatives. With Michael now covertly meeting with Jack Abbott, there's a real possibility he could lose his job. Even if he manages to retain his position, it might be wise for Michael to consider resigning and pursuing a more tranquil path instead. Claire Newman is yet another character who might consider distancing herself from Victor, particularly after he executes his scheme with Audra Charles. By undermining his promise to not interfere in Claire and Kyle Abbott's relationship, Victor is clearly overstepping his bounds with his granddaughter. Claire could come to realize that Victor's controlling nature mirrors that of Jordan, despite his attempts to disguise it as protectiveness. It would be fitting for Victor if Claire decided to sever ties with him, at least temporarily. While reconciliation with Victor could happen down the line, taking a step back from her grandfather might be the only way for Claire to truly reach him at this moment. Audra is making a serious error by teaming up with Victor, and it would be wise for her to walk away. She should have learned from her past experiences with him, as he has hurt her before. Yet, she is getting caught up in the excitement of a new cosmetics company, even if it means sabotaging Kyle's relationship with Claire. This could jeopardize her own relationship with Nate Hastings if he finds out what she is doing. Nate might react strongly to the news that Audra is trying to break up Claire and Kyle. Additionally, Audra cannot be sure that her contract is as secure as she believes, given Victor's reputation. His lawyers are likely more skilled than hers, and he could easily find a way to dismiss her once he no longer needs her. Audra would be better off leaving Victor for good and pursuing a different career that doesn't involve the Newmans. Although she thinks she can succeed in her plan, it seems that Y&R is actually setting her up for a major downfall. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, May 1, hint at some major bombshells as May Sweeps officially kicks off in Genoa City. Someone raises the stakes in a deal, while a wife loses patience with her husband, and a character deals with a major crisis at work. What's set to go down on Thursday's show? Time to find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, May 1, indicate that Victor Newman will raise the stakes with Audra Charles. He may learn that Claire Newman and Kyle Abbott have declared their love for one another and are moving forward quickly to move out together. As such, will the mustache of the aunt by giving Audra a deadline on her assignment? Across town, Lauren Fenmore will lose patience with her husband, Michael Baldwin. She's been worried for a long while that his work with Victor would place him in danger. Now that Michael went behind the mustache's back and had a meeting with Jack Abbott, she may feel as if he's playing with fire. What happens next? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Lastly, the Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday suggest Summer Newman will deal with a work crisis. Fans could see this coming from a mile away, as in the past few days, Chelsea Lawson and Sally Spectra were both offered deals from their boyfriends to leave their jobs at Marchetti. Adam Newman presented Chelsea with a high-level position at Newman Media, while Billy Abbott wants Sally to run Abbott Communications with him. What will Summer do when she loses her two top players, all on the same day? The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, May 2, 2025, are here. In tomorrow's episode, fans can expect Chelsea Lawson to make a bold move. Victor Newman pushes Adam Newman to play dirty. Also, Phyllis Summers worries about Daniel Romalotti Jr. While Summer will gush over Diane Jenkins Abbott's work, she will also be there to see Kyle Abbott. Summer will likely learn that Kyle has asked Claire Grace Newman to move in with him. Kyle will also need to break the news that Kyle and Claire will be moving into their own place, not staying at the family home. It would be easy to see Summer using Harrison Abbott to dissuade Kyle from making this big move with Claire. Unknown to others, Cole Howard's sickness could void any of Claire's move-in plans. Over with Chelsea, she has decided to take Adam's offer and join Newman Media. Chelsea brought up the news with Summer and Sally Spectra. In the end, Sally gave Chelsea some food for thought, so she might hold on to those words as she embarks on a new journey with Adam. The Young and the Restless spoilers for tomorrow reveal that Adam will be tested. Even though Adam has been behaving lately, Victor will push him to play dirty. Victor might want Adam to make a move against Billy Abbott. That could explain Chelsea and Adam not being on the same page next week. Perhaps Victor wants Adam to use Newman Media to strike at Billy. Adam already suggested that Billy is using his new company to launch an attack on him and Newman Media. Then there is Victor finding out that Billy is working with Aristotle Dumas. So this could pit CHADM against each other, especially if it's a moral issue. Chelsea might not be with Billy anymore, but she still cares about him. Also, Phyllis will continue spiraling. Instead of focusing on herself or getting some therapy, Phyllis obsesses over Daniel. The grown man already told his mother to back off, and he didn't want her help. Instead of respecting that, Phyllis will go too far, as usual. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.